Hello, my name is Adam Witt, and today I will be covering my last blog. It's going to be a two-parter because YouTube has to let me do two 15-minute blogs and stuff because then I have computer issues and I can't load it up there. And I also want to apologize that it took me this long to get this last blog up and stuff. I had something that just kind of came up, so just kind of bear with me. So sorry. I also want to let people know this might be a little bit of a touchy blog, but I still want people to watch this blog and just kind of bear with it. And also to kind of have an imagination with this a little bit and just kind of think in terms of looking at God as, is he guilty of sin, or is he not guilty of sin, or neglect, or being a killer? And let's just kind of take a look at this blog, break it down, and see what God really is and stuff, and kind of make the judgment call on that then as well. So who is God really? Well, let's look at the Bible first and then break it down and then look at the world around us. If you were to ask a pastor or a Christian, they would say he is flawless and has no sin. Even the Bible says that. Thing is, though, if you read between the lines, God is not only flawed but a sinner and a killer. Let's take 4 examples from the Bible first. First, God can't even go the first 10 pages in the Bible and already know he is flawed. First mess up was the story of Adam and Eve eating from the tree. If God did not want them to eat from the tree, then why did God make it? Also, he created Satan, who tempted them. When it comes down to it, God blamed everyone for their actions except himself. Then there was the time slavery was in Egypt. And who led the slaves to Egypt? God did. And on top of it, he did nothing about it until Moses came into the picture. Then there was the story of Job, where God took everything away from him just to prove a point to Satan. Now the stories of Jesus. Now that one, I will admit, is a bit of a toss-up. I love the fact that Jesus fed people and healed people and even taught people. But dying on the cross, I felt, was not necessary. You don't need to make any types of sacrifices to forgive someone. We humans had it right all along. Just say you're sorry to the person you screwed over or hurt, and have the person forgive you when the time is right. It should be between the person you hurt and the person that hurts you. Don't need to put some little thing in the middle of it and say, alright, now we just need to make a sacrifice and then everything's all good and stuff. There shouldn't need to be that. It's just between two people who got into an argument. That's who needs to forgive each other, That's basically it. So what is my point? My point is this. As good as God is, and I admit he did good things, he is not what the world needs, though. And that is a killer. It's all over the world if we open our eyes. Hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, earthquakes, and so much more. Cancer, diseases, disabilities, babies dying because of miscarriage or stillborn or abortion, people dying of poverty. God does nothing. Lots of people say God created the world. He didn't. We created the world. He laid down the foundation. Everything God made has been destroyed and rebuilt in so many times. Heck, we even created God. No one would have written down the events of the Bible if it was not for us. And every day we preach it to everyone. And this is how God treats us, like crap. After all we do for him, we get the short end of the stick. I get the fact that there are billionaires and big shots out there who God has blessed. I get the fact he gives to people as well. But what about those he doesn't give to? We're supposed to just ignore that and let it just happen? The reason the world is the way that it is for one reason and one reason only. God is uneducated and not fit to be our king. He bit off more than he could chew, and we're paying for it. So what is my plan? We need to dethrone God. We need to stop fearing God and start holding him accountable for his actions and strip him from his powers and put God to hell for his sins and make me be the King of Kings. When I become king, I will end the poverty and heal people and do miracles. I will have angels healing people with cancer and disabilities. I will give every person in the world $1 billion so people will not have to worry about money ever again. So what makes me a good king? I am educated, unlike God. I went to school for 14 years and did 2 years in college. God did not even do 1 year of school. All leaders we have today have a diploma and some college in their life. To our presidents, to our mayors, they all went to school and went to college. I am also loving and caring and giving. God said to do that in the Bible, love thy neighbor as thyself, and to give, and God barely does that. Last reason, I never killed anyone. When I say I love the world, I mean it. It ain't words like God does it. We deserve a better world than this. And I think it's time we fight for it and not be cowards, and we need to stand up for ourselves and face God. We've been going in the same direction forever and going nowhere. We evolved, yes, and that's a good thing. But we need a new leader. Like VCRs, NES, Super Nintendo systems, and cassette tapes, we need to get rid of the old and get with the new. And I am the new big thing. In the end, it comes down to politics. I can go on YouTube and on Bing and show everyone God's flaws and God killing people. And I plan to do that so people know who God really is and that I am not that person. I am about loving everyone, and I won't stop ever loving everyone. I will post videos every week till the end of the year, or maybe more. Hopefully you'll see why I feel the way that I do. I got more time. Yay. I guess to kind of wrap up this whole blog thing with this God thing is, well, what's his point? I'm not saying that God isn't a good person. I know he has done good deeds. It's the deeds that he has not done for the people who need him is what it comes right down to. And the reason the world is the way that it is because God is literally uneducated. And the world would have probably been better if we had a leader that was educated. I mean, you sit here and you're worshiping a God who's uneducated, but I don't understand why people, if you want someone to worship that's uneducated, why not worship a monkey? You know, he's got the same as education the monkey has just the same amount of education as God does, none, and yet you're worshiping a guy who is a killer versus a monkey. You know, so I'm just kind of putting that as an aspect that you'll be willing to worship a killer with no education, but you won't worship a monkey who never killed a thing and has the same education as God does. So I'm just using that as an example that you guys are seeming to worship anything that has no education, but you'll worship God who has no education and is a killer. So I mean, you need to kind of, back off from the whole God thing and then be like, find a leader that actually does have an education and can actually lead this world. That is what we need to do, is have a leader that has, you know, the knowledge to take this world to a better place and stuff, you know. And I have a lot of knowledge on a lot of things, you know. I know what this world needs to keep it moving, keep it going type thing. So, and I have a lot of knowledge to offer as well. So, and I believe that we could make this world a better place if we worked hard and just kind of stand up to God, you know. I think the biggest weakness of God is just literally, when it comes down to it, is if he doesn't have followers following him and people are coming to me kind of thing, he's going to start figuring out, well, Adam's got a better message to give to people, and I guess my message just stinks, you know. Maybe I need to change myself. Maybe I need to, you know, let someone who actually does have an education be the King of Kings, you know. I'm willing to fight for the people. I'm willing to give the people what they want, not what they want to hear. And the last thing we need in this world is, when there's an incident going on, is to have a hug or whatever to say everything's going to be alright and I'm going to be there for you. We need change. People want to hear that there's going to be change, that the poverty situation is going to be gone, that diseases and disabilities, they're going to be gone, that they're going to be dealt with, you know. We don't need to have another pat on the shoulder and knowing everything's going to be okay. We need to know that things are going to be different. I want to lead the world into a new path, into a new direction. And I believe that I can give that full-heartedly, you know. We've given God a chance. We gave him literally thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years to prove that he is worthy to be our king. And all the time he's failing. I'm not saying that, you know, that the people who are rich and stuff like that and successful are failures. I'm saying that, you know, that's where God wins successful. But then when there's the poverty situation and then there's diseases and disabilities and all that stuff, that's where God's failing at. And we don't need that. We need a real king. Someone who did go to school, who is educated. And minusing my disability and being my only flaw, I think I've got a lot going for myself and can actually offer a lot. And I hope that a lot of you guys can see that too. So that's the reason I think this is, you know, this is why I want to be, you know, king. I got so many plans for this world, and I know for a fact we can get on the right track if you let me take the reins. So I think when it comes right down to it, you know, we need a new leader. And we need to stand up to God and tell him we need a new leader. And if you can't give us what we want, we're going to worship someone who is going to give that to us. So, well, I was thinking I was going to need to do another blog, but I think I basically summed it up all in this blog in itself. So, thank you for watching this blog, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.